As much as one would like to believe, just calling a dog a service dog doesn't meet the legal requirements. There are things you should know and do to meet those requirements. This does require work on your part. In the long run, you will be doing what's necessary and can save you and your prospective service animal potentially many troubles in the future. We know service animals can help and are beneficial to those who want public access the same as everyone else. We have provided this video for informational purposes only. It is your legal responsibility to ensure you do your own research. By watching this video you are affirming that last statement. Remember, there are always professional training organizations that can help you with your goal. However, there is no legal requirement for them to provide free services should you decide that is the route you would prefer to take. What is the definition of a service animal? According to the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, a service animal means any dog, or miniature horse, that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability, including a physical, sensory, psychiatric, intellectual, or other mental disability. Other species of animals, whether wild or domestic, trained or untrained, are not service animals for the purposes of this definition. The work or tasks performed by a service animal must be directly related to the handler's disability. The crime deterrent effects of an animal's presence and the provision of emotional support, well-being, comfort, or companionship do not constitute work or tasks for the purposes of this definition. The key phrase here is, any dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability. And, the operative word in this phrase is, trained. The service dog must perform work. Work is defined as ongoing based on what it has been trained to do. A service dog watching over its human in case it is needed to alert and react is, in many cases, a full-day requirement. Theoretically, there is no beginning or end to a service dog's work. It also must be trained to perform tasks. Tasks are defined as being on demand and actively requested. For example, using the cue words, get help, with the service dog immediately responding with the trained behavior by finding someone to help, is a task. In this case, the handler has actively requested this task. It can also perform the trained task without being requested based on the situation. The U.S. Department of Justice states that a dog responding to a person based on instinctive behavior would be classified as an emotional support dog. The difference between a service dog and an emotional support dog or support animal is what it has been trained to do in that situation. There are expectations for service dogs in public. First and foremost, a service dog must be appropriately trained. A service dog should be well behaved in public. Basic canine training is highly recommended. There are basic behaviors as to how a dog should act in relation to other people and animals in public situations. If a service dog is aggressive, snarling, and not in control by its handler, a business has the right to ask the handler and dog to leave. If a dog is not housebroken, and it spoils in a business, the handler and dog can be asked to leave. Accidents do happen, but they should not be consistent. If this is the case, training should be given to correct it. It is also your responsibility to make sure any spoil is cleaned. Leaving it for someone else is not acceptable. A service dog should not sniff where it shouldn't. Part of the canine behavioral training should be to train a dog to keep its nose to itself. Your service dog should remain silent unless it is specifically trained to alert by barking. A dog barking just to bark and is in public is not an acceptable behavior, and a business can ask you to leave. Unless it is specifically trained to remove its human to mitigate that person's disability, the service dog should not be pulling the human all over everywhere. While working, a service dog should not be wandering around away from its human. A service dog must be trained to perform work or tasks in direct relationship to its human's disability. This means that your service dog while working should be focused on you and your behaviors. The handler must be in control of their service dog at all times. A business can ask you to leave if your service dog is not under your control or you are not making an attempt to get it under control. Your service dog should be well groomed. An offensive smell can cause a disturbance in close quarters or in a restaurant. In that case, a business can ask you to leave. In a restaurant, there are other concerns. Your service dog should not be fed from the table. A restaurant is a health environment and you as the handler should respect that business and its customers. Your service dog should be trained to ignore food on the floor. Unless your service dog is specifically trained to alert you to a specific allergen, your service dog should not be on the seat bench or on the table. In a restaurant, the best place for your service dog is to be under the table on the floor or on the floor out of the flow of traffic. People should not be allowed to greet your service dog in the dining area. Remember, a restaurant is a health environment. Allowing that to happen can cause a patron to complain to the business, and you could possibly be asked to leave. You should know that a business can legally ask you 2 questions specific to the Americans with Disabilities Act. You are required to answer both questions. The first question is your dog a service animal required because of a disability? The second question is, what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? They cannot ask what the person's disability is, whether the individual's disability is visible or hidden, invisible. Require the service animal to demonstrate what it is trained to perform. Require documentation of the individual's disability. Require the service animal's training or registration. Interfere with the performance of the service animal's work or tasks. Interference includes petting, feeding, and instructing it to perform a task. Segregate it into an animal-friendly, or an isolated area. Deny access due to another person's allergies. Accommodations must be made for both individuals' disabilities. There are numerous online resources, such as online videos and training materials that can help you in training your prospective service dog. A service dog that is well trained can be a lifesaver for a person living with a disability. A dog that is not trained and its handler makes it wear a service dog vest so the human can take it everywhere, can be, and in many cases, is a public nuisance. Of greater importance, it causes problems for those individuals who truly need a service animal. For that reason, in many states, it is now illegal to knowingly misrepresent a dog as a service dog. Do yourself a huge favor, and seek out the resources you need to train your future service dog. There are many resources online and businesses that can help you train it. Take the time to do what's right, and train your future service dog appropriately. You will find that people and businesses will appreciate the time you have taken in training a well-behaved and legal service animal. In closing, Frank Griggs is the founder of Heroes Puppy for Life organization, and the Frank Griggs Relationship Bond Training Methodology. In addition, Frank also testifies in court cases concerning service dogs. Putting a vest on a dog and calling it a service dog does not make it legal. Registering a dog with an online service dog registry does not make it a service dog. Unfortunately, many individuals who self-train their dogs will make mistakes in following ADA and its requirements. Those mistakes can be avoided simply by studying what is required, working many hours to properly train the future service dog in all aspects, and spending the time necessary to ensure their dog can meet the legal requirements established by the Americans with Disabilities Act and individual states. Frank created this video with the hopes that individuals who wish to self-train their service dog will make sure they are working within the legal realm. We wish you the best.